Hello everyone. Welcome to the lesson of Microsoft Excel. So as this is a new lesson on Microsoft Excel of pivot table, so we're going to learn about how we can make a pivot table and how a pivot table works in Microsoft Excel. So let's start off with knowing what pivot table is in Microsoft Excel. So a pivot table can be created in several ways, but we're going to know about the definition. So a pivot table is a table of grouped values that aggregates the individual items of a more extensive table within one or more discrete categories. This summary might include sums, averages, or other statistics, which the pivot table groups together using a chosen aggregation function applied to the grouped values. So as you can see that I already have a data here. So we're not gonna talk anymore. So without any further ado, let's start off with the lesson. So obviously, first of all, you're gonna need a value, or you're gonna need an array of data. So what is gonna be the data? So all of the data must be like individually or divided into several categories. So as you can see here, I have years, cash flow, PV, return, and end balance. As you can see that I have imbalanced and I didn't add in like minus cash flows, so most of them are like minus cash flows, but yeah, what I'm gonna do is select all of them. Let's say we're gonna select it. Another way of selecting an array is clicking on one of them and just pressing on Ctrl A, and you will see the array will be selected. After being selected, what we're gonna do is go to data, review, or view. Okay, you can see right here that all of them are over here, but we're gonna search. Okay, from here you will see two options. One is recommended pivot tables and pivot tables. Well, when you click on pivot tables, it will directly open up an interface and let you create a pivot table on your own, and you will see a new sheet will open up. But when you click on recommended pivot tables, it will recommend, or Microsoft Excel will help you to find out some specific pivot tables which you can use in your Microsoft Excel sheet. So without any further complexities, what we're gonna do is just click on pivot tables to create one. So as I've created or clicked on pivot tables, you will see that this box will appear up. Well, if you already select the data, you can see are selecting the whole of it, and then it will be done. And you can see that if you want an external data source, you can also select it by clicking on it and then choosing the connection. Let's say other workbooks, you can also do that. And if you need it or need the data in a new worksheet or the existing worksheet, that can also be done. If you click on new worksheet, it will open up a new worksheet or a new Microsoft Excel worksheet, and then paste or use the pivot table there. But if you need it or want to use it in an existing worksheet, if you click it, you will see it will open up another sheet right on this Microsoft Excel sheet and open up right over here. So as I want it on the existing sheet, so what I'm gonna do is either click on it, like if it's on new worksheet, then you can just click on add this data to the data model and just press OK. After clicking on it, you will see it will take some time, and then you can see it will be applied on your pivot table. If you do not click on add the data, you will see that all of the data will not be applied. Let's do an undo, and after clicking on undo, I'm going to create the pivot table again. Clicking on the pivot table, select the range, selecting the range, and then I'm not going to add the data this time. Just press on OK, and you will see a new pivot table will be applied. And now you can select the years, cash flows, PV, return, and balance. And now I'm going to select on more tables. I'm going to click on OK, and you can see that all of them are now available here. Okay, just on a new sheet, not on pivot table. After all of them are applied, you can see down over here are the fields. If the fields are of sum, well, all of them are sums. So now you can see the sums. If I added average over here, you can also use average. So let's say I'm going to go to pivot table and I'm going to add average. Let's say not average here, but let's say I'm going to cut this data. And I'm going to use the formula of equal average. After clicking on average, what I'm going to do right here is select this, comma, this. And then what I'm going to do is close the parentheses, hit enter, and this is the average. Now I'm going to go to sheet 1. After going to sheet 1, as this is a pivot table, what I'm going to do is select on it, and you will be able to see some of the values might change. If you need more values, just use the fill header and you will get more values, just however you want it to be. Let's say I don't want the range like this, but you can also change the field. You can also expand and collapse however you want it to be. That is all up to you. Okay, so I'm gonna use this and then value, and what I'm gonna do is click on average. If I click on average, the average will be applied. Let's say average of PV. So now the average of PV is this one. So this is the total outcome of the whole data. If you want a different value, you can go to value field settings and then change whatever you need. Let's say now I want VAR. So which is the var of end valence. So I'm gonna do is click on it and press enter, and you can see that this is the var. Okay, so I'm gonna like increase a bit, and you can see that this will be the var. Okay, so according to that, you will get the var of end valence. Okay, now I'm going to select on it and then change it, okay, back to sum, and this will get back to the end of the sum. Now what I'm going to do is also do the same thing. Now I want to count them. So if I want to count them, you can see that the count of PV is 20 data. Okay, and now I'm going to go to values. If you want to change the values, you can also remove the field however you want it to be. Okay, so if you remove it, you will like get whichever type of data you need in your Microsoft Excel pivot table. Now let's say I need the pivot tables back, or the values back. So I'm going to undo it, and you'll get them back again. Now if you want to change the data over here, you will see that the datas will change however like you change the data in your table. Here, now what I'm gonna do is click on it, 21. Now what I'm gonna do is go to sheet 1, and as you can see that all of them are now made. Now to like, if you want to, let's say you want to add in more data. So if you want to add in more data, you can also do that. Well, as you can see, when I clicked on it, you got the whole the outcome of it. Okay, so as we added in 21, how will you be able to do it? Well, the first thing what you have to do is when you are making a pivot table, you have to select the array first. Okay, so when you click on or add in the first data, you will get the pivot table. So I'm going to select on it, and then what I'm going to do is click on values, and then I'm going to remove, okay, I'm going to remove the field, and then I will cut the pivot table or cut the sheet. Let's say I'm going to delete it, and I will make a pivot table again. So I'm going to click on insert, pivot table, select the array or the table, 21, click on OK, and now you will see that pivot table will be applied. Okay, if you need a new one, you can also create it just by however you are clicking on it. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. So this is pivot table 2, as you can see, to build a report, choose the field from the pivot table field list, and then you will be able to select it. Okay, or you will be able to create a pivot table. If you are facing some problems on making a new sheet, just click on it, or just click on new worksheet, select the range or the table, or select it first, and then press OK, and it will make a pivot table first for you on a new sheet. So just click on it, add the data, and you will be able to find it. Let's say year, cash, if you want the imbalance. However you want them to be. Okay, let's say more table. Now I'm gonna do is, let's say the range here, I'm gonna add in the cash flows, I'm gonna add range PV, range return, and range end balance. So whichever type of data you need, even if you need to change the outcome or the result and you don't want to like do the formulas or function over again to find out the sum, to find out the average, to find out the var, so you don't need to use any formulas to get them individually. Instead, you can just get the values like however you want them to be without doing the formulas in a pivot table and analyze the data. So this is how you will be able to open up or make a pivot table and start working on it. Hope you guys understood everything, and thank you for watching this video.